I'm actually here tonight talking about yes on Prop 409, which is a Maricopa County bond for Valleywise Healthcare. So let me see if I can just share these slides. Since we're talking numbers, it always helps to be able to actually see the numbers. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Great. So as you've probably learned from other speakers and driving around, we do have a special, off-cycle election this fall. It is almost exclusively bonds, overrides, and in some parts of the county, different municipal measures. But right at the top of that all-mail election ballot is going to be Prop 409. Now, Valleywise Healthcare, if you're a long timer, an Arizona long timer like I am, you might be more familiar with referring to it as just County Hospital or Maricopa County Medical Center. It is still that, but back in 2004, they got an actual name and it's Valleywise. And so this is our public safety net healthcare system, as well as our only public teaching hospital in the county. So over 3,000 doctors move through Valleywise every single year and then go on to practice at the other hospitals and medical centers and clinics all over the state and beyond. You can look at that map and kind of situate yourself. Various bonds over the last 2 decades have allowed the county hospital system to expand into additional urgent and emergency care clinics, level 1 trauma and emergency rooms. Um, this bullet here talks about the world-renowned burn center. Burn medicine was, really refined and taken to a new level at Valleywise here in Arizona, because we do have so many folks who come in needing care from extreme heat injury, and wildfires and issues like that. So we have a world-renowned burn center at Valleywise. And one item that is particularly near and dear to me and important to me is that it is our county's largest provider of behavioral health care. Now that says inpatient, but they're also the largest provider of outpatient as well. And as we know, we are at crisis levels when it comes to being able to answer the amount of demand for mental health care across our communities. And as our public healthcare system, so not private, not privatized and for profit, Valleywise really is that spot that answers that mental health care crisis for so many and for the most in need and disadvantaged in our communities. And so this bond will allow Valleywise to expand, update, and improve the services that they already offer. One note is that right now in 2025, we have already surpassed what our healthcare system predicted we would need to do in 2028. And that's because of the incredible growth that Maricopa County has seen. So many people are moving here. It's part of why we have a housing crisis, but so many people are moving here that the demand for healthcare, we're already 3 to 4 years behind the need that exists. And as our only public healthcare system, you can imagine how important it is, especially now with attacks on our healthcare, on our health insurance coming from the federal government. It is critical that we maintain and expand those services that we do have here. So it talks about, updating the older facilities for behavioral and mental health care, inpatient especially. It talks about needing to update and expand our emergency care. I like to share one anecdote, and I verified with multiple people that this is in fact true, that our first responders, our firefighters, police officers, community care folks, for decades now, they will sometimes write on their undershirt, under their uniforms when they work out in the community, "Take me to Valleywise," because the care that you can receive for emergency care, for trauma one care at Valleywise is so excellent that our first responders are saying, hey, if I get hurt, I know where I want to be taken for that care that I'm going to need. And then you saw that map earlier. This bond will allow for rebuilding of all the neighborhood clinics that desperately need updates, and also adding additional, such as outpatient surgery centers. So this goes into it a little more. It is a large bond. It's almost $900 million. That's because building and renovating medical and healthcare facilities is expensive work. But one thing that I feel proud of being part of this campaign is that as our public system, Valleywise has relied on bonds before in order to grow. And they have met or exceeded everything that they said they would do with every penny that they got in taxpayer support. Sometimes you hear about projects being funded with tax dollars and they're behind schedule, or they never got built, or X, Y, and Z. In Valleywise's case, they have met every single objective that they said they would when they have had taxpayer support before. So they have a great track record of being accountable to us. So anytime you're talking about a bond, the question should be, what is my portion, right? What is every individual property owner going to contribute? So the calculus is 11 cents per $100 of net assessed property value. I like to go with an example. So if you look in that lower corner, everybody loves to pop their property into Zillow now and then, right? And see those numbers that come up. So if we take a home that's almost $600,000, so, across Maricopa County, pretty high up there, $600,000, that assessed limited property value, according to the county assessor, that's the number that matters, not Zillow, but the county assessor, is just 25,000 and some change. That $600,000 home is going to pay in about $28 a year. Now, I popped my there's a calculator on the Yes on 409 website. It's really fun to play with. You can go and put in your exact parcel number of your property, and you'll get, what the county assessor values you at for that assessed LPV, and exactly how much your home will contribute to 409. And you can also look at other bonds. So that's a really fun calculator. It's at the Yes on 409 website. Now, one thing that you all have been talking about all night is, red districts, blue districts, what voters out there are associated with, what they value. 409 has extremely strong support from our folks, right? Both of our senators in Washington, Attorney General Mays, Secretary Fontes, multiple of our Democratic mayors, multiple of our Democratic congresspeople, and many more, as well as the Arizona Medical Association, Arizona Nurses Association, and others. But one thing I can tell you is it also has extremely strong Republican support. So Prop 409 has the endorsement of former Governor Doug Ducey, former Governor Jan Brewer, current Sheriff Jerry Sheridan, current County Attorney Rachel Mitchell, and many others. I say that because I know that in areas such as yours, sometimes it can feel a little you're not sure what you're getting into, right? So if you have a sticker on your car or a sign in your yard or you post on your socials. So I like to let people know in the case of 409, the support, the appreciation for what it's trying to do is deeply bipartisan, which is nice sometimes to know that we actually can agree on some things. Um, Again, this is an all-male election, and so that takes me to my number one ask for all of you is to actually help us spread the word. You are not the norm, as you know. Highly engaged, highly informed voters for an off-cycle, off-year, all-male election are hard to find. And so my ask to those of you who are informed and are engaged is to help make sure your friends and neighbors know that a ballot is coming to their mailbox, whether they requested it or not, and that it's an important ballot to open, to vote yes, and then to return by that deadline.